All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Generations Thrilling 30 Thundercracker. And this is obviously based on his War for Cybertron Fall of Cybertron design. It was just a redeco at the time of the Generations Fall of Cybertron Starscream that had come out, I want to say a year or two prior. I can't totally remember. I think the previous year. Obviously this is just meant to be a, War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, High Moon, Thundercracker, and it's all right. I've never been totally in love with the High Moon Seeker design, but it definitely works. I would say that the wings are a little bit small, like even for how they looked in the game, but otherwise it's a pretty decent jet mode here. Really, the only reason that I ever picked this figure up is because at the time I just didn't have access to getting any other sort of Thundercracker for my collection, and I wanted a version of the character, so that's why I picked this guy up when it came out. But obviously we've gotten better sort of like more G1 style Thundercrackers since then, but he's pretty much the same as the other versions of this mold. He does come with this cool sort of like double Gatling gun weapon here, which is in two parts, but it pegs together. And when it pegs together, it's got this like gear function. So when you rotate one, it'll rotate the other one as well, which is kind of neat. But you can just untab these, and for storage, you can just like use either of these pegs. Does this peg work actually? Yeah, you can use the smaller peg too to peg these on underneath the wings there, which proportionally looks a little bit ridiculous just because the wings are so small and the guns are so big, but you can do that. Another neat feature that you can do is if you leave these kind of tabbed together, you can actually take the back fin piece off, and it reveals two holes in here that you can use to peg the weapons on, and then there's a hole on the top that you can put the fin piece on, so you can kind of like pretend that it actually like transformed out of the jet or something, and this big ridiculous weapon is somehow internally stored. Kind of a neat feature, not super necessary, but it doesn't really cause any problems either. In terms of comparisons in this mode, just for a standard one, here he is with Kingdom Sideswipe. So you can see, obviously Cybertronian jet with Earth car. I don't know how they scale, but if he's anything like the size of an Earth jet, he's way too small, but that's what the two of them look like together. And here he is with Earthrise Thundercracker, so you can see what he looks like with another version of the character. But yeah, to get onto transformation, he's pretty straightforward. It pretty much works exactly how you'd expect it to. The legs are very obviously just right back here, but first thing you want to do is just take the little tip of the nose cone and just fold that in. You can take the legs here. They will unpeg from the back, and then you can take this whole section and flip that around so it'll peg into the back of the nose cone, and you can just flip out his toes here. The arms, you kind of like fold the wings out a little bit. You fold these out like this from these joints, and then you can take this whole section and it will come down and then sort of like double hinge back up, so that these bits sit here like that, and then this big square tab will go into the back of his waist there. And then you can take these little sections here, these like vents, and bring them down just like this to kind of sit over his shoulders, rotate around his head, that's new. It just became split down the middle. I didn't remember him having that issue. And you can just rotate the arms forward, and there we have Thundercracker in his robot mode. And it's a decent looking robot mode. Again, I've never really liked the whole like chunky design of the High Moon Seekers, but it is very accurate to how they looked in game. So if you like that design, you will like this mold. I don't have the newer like War for Cybertron Starscream Voyager that they put out last year to compare him with, unfortunately. But either way, he's a pretty decent looking figure here. Nice head sculpt, very accurate to the game. Good work and light piping there. In terms of articulation, the head is on a swivel. The shoulders are on universal joints, which can rotate around like that and go out to the side. He does also have this transformation joint, which can kind of like hinge in and out a little bit. It doesn't really have like a dedicated place to go, which is a little bit annoying, but whatever. He does not have anything at the waist just because of how it folds up for transformation. Hips can go forward and back and out to the side. He's got a thigh swivel, about 90 degrees of bend at the knee. He's got an ankle tilt here, which is nice, and then the toe can fold forward and back. I'm realizing I skipped the rest of the arm articulation, but it does also have a bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow for transformation, and a wrist swivel, which is nice because I think how they actually want you to have him is like this with the kind of like gorilla elbow thing going on, which kind of sucks. So it's nice that he has that wrist swivel, so you don't have to have that. But that does mean that the ports to actually attach his weapons are on the back of his arms, or he doesn't have ones on the shoulders either. So you kind of have to have them like undersling these if you want. Well, I mean, you could just have him hold it as one singular weapon, and I do feel like that's kind of the best look for this gun. But if you want it to be like sort of null rays or whatever, the best you can really do is kind of like underslung those or leave him with the gorilla arms. Either way, they don't really look like the sort of like traditional Seeker weapons, but yeah, they look kind of cool as underslung weapons. And then in terms of storage, you could just, use the same storage that you could use for vehicle mode and then just peg this onto that. The wing ports are kind of hidden. You could put them on the legs, but I think that would look a little silly. But either way, it's basically the same options as in vehicle mode. But yeah, in terms of comparisons in this mode, here he is again with Kingdom Sideswipe. Just so you can see, pretty much an average size deluxe. They're a little bit bigger than him, but not by a whole lot. And then here he is again with Earthrise Thundercracker. Did I say Earthrise? Kingdom Sideswipe? I don't know what I said. Anyway, but that's what the two of them look like together. Obviously, very different designs here. Him going for the High Moon design, him going for a G1 design. But, they both have the general Thundercracker marks there. And yeah, overall, decent figure. It's not a design that I'm super in love with, and the figure doesn't really do anything all that exciting because, the design is so simple that it's a fairly simple transformation. The vehicle mode is not amazing looking, but it is pretty accurate to the design from the game. He's an adequate figure of a design I don't love, but he's solid. He's got good articulation. He's got good feeling joints aside from the head apparently just like falling off. That one's new to me. It doesn't seem to be attached by a screw or anything, so maybe the glue joint just popped for whatever reason, but that's easily fixable. But yeah, like I said, not my favorite thing. I do like the weapons that he comes with, but I don't really find myself going back to this guy all that often because, I really only got him to be a Thundercracker in my collection, and now I've got a better Thundercracker in my collection. So, if you like the High Moon design, he's a decent figure of it, though I'm assuming that the new Voyager is a little bit better. So, whatever floats your boat, but not my favorite figure, but he is cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to him. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. I might drop the Sunday videos soon and just go down to 2 reviews a week just because I'm running out of old stuff to review, and I definitely don't get even 2 new things a week, so even that might have to scale down eventually, or I'll have to come up with something else for the channel. But either way, for today's video, this is Transformers Thrilling 30 War for Cybertron Thundercracker.